This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. Today on Share the Vision, we will talk about the first ever Buddy Walk in our immediate area, and a little later, I think Terry Johnson is going to slip in and do a preview of this year's Toys for Tots campaign. But first, as always, we welcome Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center. Good morning, Mr. Watterson.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Wonderful. Always great to come back here to your administrative offices at Dunham Avenue and this beautiful studio we have in the conference room here that we use periodically to talk about things that are new and exciting at the Resource Center. And that's what we're going to do today by talking about the Buddy Walk. Want to give us a little bit of a preview?
Sure. The Resource Center is going to be, not the Resource Center proper. I mean, we're helping to sponsor it. But really, it's individuals who get support from the Resource Center and their family and their support staff came together and wanted to put on a Buddy Walk. And a Buddy Walk is an event that is a fundraiser and awareness builder for the National Down Syndrome Society. And that's going to be coming up in 1 week on Saturday the 15th. And we're very excited about it. It's going to be taking place in Lakewood. But that's about all I know. So I'm going to turn it over to our guests to fill you in on the other part.
It is a pleasure to welcome to Share the Vision Karen Silsley, Residence Coordinator here at the Resource Center. Karen Silsley, welcome to Share the Vision. This is we've known each other for a long time, but you tell me this is your first appearance on the air.
I think it is.
Well, we should wait no longer to get you on the radio. There are others in the room, and I'm going to have you introduce them if you would, Karen.
Tim Adam is here, and his daughter Abby Adam, who are helping to organize the first area Buddy Walk.
Okay, I'm going to start with you, but Tim, welcome to the show. Nice to have you in the room with us.
Thank you.
Feel free to jump in on this conversation. And I don't know if your daughter Abby is going to say anything. We tried to encourage her a little bit before the show started, but if she decides not to say anything on the air, I'll just have you talk on her behalf in a minute here. Okay, Tim?
All right.
Buddy Walk. This is something that is brand new here, but not brand new. It's been around for a while, Karen.
It has. The National Down Syndrome Society has been putting on Buddy Walks for the last few years. And just some parents were talking, and we decided that we were going to try and get one going here in Jamestown. So a small group of people, some staff from the Resource Center, some families, and then some of our residents are putting on the first Lakewood area Buddy Walk on October 15th.
What are the essential details in terms of where it's going to be and how people can get involved, Karen?
The registration is going to start at 11:30, and it's going to be held at the Lakewood Rod and Gun at the Pavilion. And it's a mile walk. It goes down Summit to Harlem and back on Terrace back to the Rod and Gun. It's a mile walk. It's a $20 registration fee, and anybody that walks for free. So we're just looking for people to come out and support our cause.
Talk to me about the concept for a moment of the Buddy Walk. You want walkers to sign up to walk, and then someone else walks with them?
It just depends. You can just walk yourself, or if you know somebody that has Down syndrome, those individuals are the buddies, and they get to walk for free. Anybody can walk.
And then you'll have some celebratory events following the walk?
Yep. Everyone gets a hot dog lunch. We're going to have a DJ there as well, and there'll be face painting.
Let's bring Tim Adam on now and have him talk a little bit more about this. You're part of an organizing committee of how many people, Tim? Small group so far?
Small group.
What got it into your mind to start this in Jamestown? Or this area, actually, Lakewood in this case, but the immediate Jamestown area.
We actually thought about it right after Abby was born, and we just, through work and everything else, we were busy, and we just never did it. And then Karen brought it up a little while ago, and we decided to jump on board, and so did some of the other parents.
There's some other essentials that we ought to lay out here for the listeners of this program. Tell me a little bit about Down syndrome. And Karen or Steve or Tim, any of you can jump in on this conversation. What is it, and what kind of awareness do we need to increase in the community to have something like the Buddy Walk?
It's a chromosomal disorder, and it's actually not that rare. 1 in 700 births, I think, have Down syndrome. And we just like to increase the awareness and have everybody know that they're out there and they're very friendly and
the community of the Resource Center and the listeners of this program know a little bit about Down syndrome, thanks in large part to Wayne and Elaine and Laurel Hotelling, because Laurel is, I almost said young woman, but pardon me for this, but she's reached middle age now and has Down syndrome and has spoken on this program a number of times. And Wayne and Elaine have talked in great detail about their love for their daughter and the challenges laid before them at the time of her birth and how they rejected some of the recommendations made to them, embraced others. Do you want us to tell us a little bit about your family story, Tim?
Actually, for us, it's been pretty smooth, and it's because of people like them that pretty much paved the way for the things that are going on now.
I don't know if Abby will tell us how old she is or not. She's shaking her head.
She's
now.
15.
15 years old. And do you have other children?
Yes, I have 2 other daughters.
Are they younger or older?
Older.
And so tell me about family life and how you have integrated Abby into your family and activities. I guess the straightforward question is, what is it like to be in a family where one of the members has Down syndrome, Tim?
It's kind of hard to tell because she's been there, but we always said that we're not going to treat her any different. And I think it's really had a very positive effect on my older daughters. My oldest daughter, Megan's at Fredonia, getting her teaching degree. And next semester she'll be helping out in a special ed classroom.
This is something for which there is no cure. There is no way to reverse Down syndrome.
Right.
It is just something that Abby lives with, you as a family live with, cope with,
right.
Deal with.
When she was born, a doctor told us she can do anything that anybody else can do. But it's just like most people going to cross the room to turn on a light switch. When Abby goes to do it, it would be like somebody's pulling on her shirt, holding her back a little bit.
Interesting.
So it just takes them a little longer, but they get there.
And again, I'll offer Abby the opportunity, but I think she's going to defer again to you, Dad. Abby's a student. She's involved in a school around here. Tell us a little bit about Abby, Adam, and her life. She's pointing at you again, Tim. Wish you had video, you could see this, but you can't.
She goes to Southwestern, and she's in the 8th grade in Mrs. Butler's room.
And tell us about her interests, the things that she likes to do, things that she doesn't like to do. Is she a typical teenager?
Pretty much typical teenager. She likes coming to the dances here at the Resource Center. We do Special Olympics golf during the summer.
Sure, I know the Hennings very well from Erie, who are a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do bowling starting October 15th. She started Special Olympics swimming last February.
Tell me a little bit about how the Resource Center is connected to your family life in terms of what resources you take advantage of here. You mentioned something about Friday night entertainment or dances. Tell me about TRC and your world.
Well, she enjoys the Friday night dances. Last month we did bingo, and she takes the waiver services with some respite. So she has somebody that comes and gets her twice a week and takes her out in the community and
gets to do fun things.
They just hang out and yeah.
Karen Silsley, as I'm looking here, residence coordinator, you're not directly involved with people who have Down syndrome, or are you?
I do. I have individuals that live in the homes that I oversee that have Down syndrome.
So you have an interest in, give us your perspective on Down syndrome and the potential of the lives of people who have this condition.
I do have some individuals that have Down syndrome that live at the Resource Center and also that participate in Special Olympics, and they can do whatever they set their mind to. Actually, I'm leaving tomorrow for California with an individual that lives at one of my homes because she was hired by Therap Services, our documentation agency, and she represents them with other self-advocates. So I get to travel with her to California, and she's an individual with Down syndrome, and she goes, travels, makes presentations, and so the sky's the limit.
We have 1 minute. Time's getting a little short here today, but we can take that apart a little bit. TheraP services?
The Resource Center uses them for all our documentation for the homes, the programs we have here.
And this person that you were going with is a self-advocate. Maybe there are some listeners of this program who don't understand what that's all about.
She just speaks up for herself and tries to get other individuals with other disabilities that they can speak up for themselves. They can do what they want to do in the community. They can get the jobs they want. They just have to speak up for themselves and stand up for themselves.
And this is a young man or woman?
Young woman, Jennifer.
Who has Down syndrome also?
Yes, and who's also involved in the Buddy Walk.
And so this is someone who is obviously very much out front, at least
Yes.
for you here at the Resource Center in terms of talking about these issues. A couple of questions come to mind, and I will have both you and Tim answer these. In terms of what you would like to see, let's say the walk is over a week from today, and you have had the walking and the celebration afterwards, and people are going home. What do you want them to have in their minds about Down syndrome, the impressions that you would like them to take away from this first ever Buddy Walk?
Well, I'm hoping that families can come and talk to other families that have children with Down syndrome, from young children to older children, so they can see that everything's available and to see the opportunities that exist for people with disabilities, specifically Down syndrome, and that the community comes out and sees a great bunch of kids and adults with Down syndrome out walking and making themselves known.
Tim, as a dad, are there other aspects of this that you would like to have people be contemplating, after the walk that day or the day after, or as they go on in their lives?
Just to be more accepting in the community when they see somebody with Down syndrome. And if they have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
The community of people, families who have Down syndrome, I would like to reach out to them just a moment and encourage them to be a part of this so that others will have buddies to walk with. Can they contact you also?
Yes, they can. They can contact me at 969-2713. And I also wanted to say that Jamestown Pediatrics is backing us with this endeavor as well. So just wanted to put that plug in there.
So you have a group of sponsors. The Resource Center is helping to support this, and Jamestown Pediatrics and the families of some children with Down syndrome.
Yes.
Let me give your number again, make sure I got it right here, 969-2713. Is that the best way for people to connect with you if they would like to sign up for this, or is there an internet or Facebook kind
For
of
this
thing?
year, that's probably the best way to, and I can direct them to registration forms.
Karen Silsley at 969-2713 for the first ever Buddy Walk, which will be occurring 1 week from today. Registration at 11:30, the walk at 12:30 at the pavilion at the Rod and Gun Club in Lakewood. I just want to pause here for 1 minute before I ask you a couple of other questions. Steve, are there other aspects of the connection, Steve Watterson, who's in the room with us, other aspects of the connection between TRC and families with members who have Down syndrome that we ought to make sure the public knows about on the show?
Not necessarily. I'm just very excited that we're putting on a Buddy Walk. For those of you who you are aware of this, Dennis, but the Resource Center, the individuals we support, and staff members, they go out and support a lot of different community causes. We take part in a lot of awareness walks, and it's neat that we're going to be taking part in this one, but also organizing it. And I'm also glad that I don't have to be involved in some of the organizing. I can just show up and have some fun and walk, right?
Yes, you can.
But it's kind of nice, when Wayne and Elaine Hotelling and Laurel Hotelling started Laurel Run, it was about raising awareness and celebrating the achievements of people with all types of developmental disabilities. And, this is a nice event that focuses more narrowly on individuals with Down syndrome. And we're hoping for a great turnout.
This, you told me before we got on the air, Karen Silsley, is something that is not being done elsewhere in this region. It was for a brief time, maybe in another city close by, but this is the only Buddy Walk around here this year.
Yes, it is.
And the availability, anybody can come who wants to be part of this? Sign
Absolutely.
for the $20.
Anybody that wants to come and walk, and you can just come the day of the event at 11:30 and register. Everyone gets a T-shirt. If you're able to register by October 8th, You're guaranteed the right size, but we will have T-shirts for everybody and lunch afterwards with the cost of registration.
I'm looking through the Buddy Walk information that you left me here as you were speaking there, and let me emphasize a couple of things out of here. One of them is that it is just 1 mile.
Yes,
So it's
1 mile. It's a small walk.
And though this is new to us here in Jamestown, and I must concede to you that this is the first time that I've really had an extensive discussion about the Buddy Walk, they are celebrating 20 years, as they say on their flyer here, of advocacy, inclusion, and awareness. And the Buddy Walk is nationally ranked in the 30 top run, walk, ride, endurance events, 29th for money raised, 13th for the number of events, 8th for the number of participants. So it's
No
probably
pressure.
Well, just to speak to the success of this so far, I mean, that this has really been very successful across the United States, and we're fortunate that you and Tim and the other family members who are involved in this have brought it to our area. We are going to leave the subject of the Buddy Walk for a moment. We'll get back and recap the essential part of it in a few minutes, but we wanted to give the last segment of the show today over to a special event and a special guest. Steve, I'll come back to you and let you introduce this special guest to us.
Well, we've got Terry Johnson here with us.
The famous Terry Johnson?
Yes, longtime listeners will be well familiar with Terry because she's on our program a lot talking about her job at the Resource Center, but also Terry is one of the co-leaders of the Resource Center's U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots Drive that we've been doing for 16 years now. This is year number 17, and we're having our big kickoff event coming up in a couple of weeks.
Terry Johnson, welcome back to Share the Vision. Great to see you again.
Thank you. You too.
Now, what is the kickoff event? Because you always do something a little different each year to roll out Toys for Tots. What's in the planning for this year?
So this year we are doing another collaboration with the Lights of Broadway. They will be doing another show for us. They always put a lot of laughter in the room, and we've, over the years, have done different partnerships with them, and they've done 10-minute skits and full shows for us. So we're going back to them doing a full show for us again this year. So we're really excited to be working with them again.
And tell me, well, first, when is this kickoff for Toys for Tots?
October 22nd at 8 p.m.
And where's it going to be?
It's going to be at the Crystal Ballroom, but actually the show starts at 8 p.m., but we'll be having hors d'oeuvres and things starting at 7 p.m.
Okay, 7 to 8 is kind of the introduction, and then 8 o'clock, the big show with the Lights of Broadway. And have they titled this for this year? I mean, knowing the Lights of Broadway as I do, I'm just anxious to hear what they have in mind for you.
They're going to be surprising us this year.
Ah.
So they've got a lot of tricks up their sleeves, and it's the week before Halloween.
Tricks,
so,
I thought of that right away.
Yeah, we are actually going to be... It's optional for people that are buying tickets to come if they want to wear a costume. We did that last year, and it was very popular. We were going to avoid the costume thing this year, but people were requesting it. So we have left it up to people that are coming. If they want to wear a costume, we're going to have a prize given again this year for the best costume that is there. So that's backed by popular demand because we were going to take that part out because last year was a Halloween show. This year's not. So we were going to take that out, but too many people asked about it. So it'll be available for those that want to dress up.
Well, it might be, the Lights of Broadway a week and a couple of days before Halloween. They might weave in a few of those elements. It wouldn't surprise me.
I would not be surprised.
At all. By the way, what does it cost to go to the show?
The cost is $25, and it includes the hors d'oeuvres, and there is a dessert buffet at the end or during intermission, and the show, which is worth more than $25 just to watch the Lights of Broadway for a couple hours.
How many people are in the Lights of Broadway? A handful?
They come and go. We've got some that are deployed overseas. We've got some that are away at college. We've got some that are here and there. And
were they deployed overseas?
At one point,
after
there's
the
like
last
up
show?
to 20 people. It just depends on the show that they do and what they're going to bring us that night, how many people, but usually between 3 and 6.
Uh-huh. So how can people get tickets for this?
They can call the Resource Center. They can call me at 661-1433.
661-1433. I'll write your number down again, though I probably have it from last year or the other 16 years that we've talked about the Toys for Tots drive in our area. But, Terry, for a moment, let us step away from the funny part of this and the sort of silliness that it kicks off with. Looking forward to the drive this year, you have plans in place already, expectations? Just kind of set us up for Toys for Tots this year. Terry Johnson.
Yes, this is our kickoff. So once we have this event on the 22nd, it will be full steam ahead between now and Christmas time. So once we do this, we'll be getting applications out actually prior to the event to the different local agencies that we work with for toy applications for individuals. We'll be getting boxes out at all of the different community partners in the businesses probably the week before Thanksgiving and the week of Thanksgiving. And then we'll be collecting toys and kind of trucking them through the snow and the muck and getting ready for our big whirlwind in the last couple months of the year.
There was a weather forecast in the midst of that, too, I think, but I'm just going to let that go for the moment because it's a little too early to predict all of that. Approximate numbers, Terry, in terms of annually, recently, how many families you've served, how many toys you need to make Toys for Tots work around here?
So the last few years, we've been serving just over 2,400 children. We've been holding steady at that number for quite a few years now. The number's not going up too much anymore like it had been for so many years, but it's not really going down either. In order to do that, we need about 6,000 toys to make the season happen. So we're hoping that the kickoff event will generate some revenue that we need to be able to purchase toys that is usually required every year to fill in the gaps of what doesn't come in through those collection boxes.
In addition to people attending the kickoff on the 22nd at the Crystal Ballroom and calling you for tickets, anything else you need from the community right now to help get this started?
You know, we're always looking for donations of toys. We can take them at any time,
Even
donation
now.
of toys or money. We'll take them now. We've had some calls coming in from some people the last few weeks.
This is early October.
Yeah. You know, everybody has different circumstances of how they come to get toys or have toys in their possession, and they're trying to clean things out and figure out where to put them. So we will take any new and unwrapped toys, anytime. We're never going to turn them away, even though we'd love for them to come in one of those collection boxes, but we'll take them anytime.
Well, Terry, I know we'll be doing 1 or 2 shows, as we often do, on Share the Vision for Toys for Tots later this year. So I look forward to those, as I always do, and learning more about this year's campaign and helping to kick it off. But thank you for coming in. While the weather is still quite fair, there's no muck and no snow or anything else that you mentioned there, to tell us about the Lights of Broadway, the famous local comedy and entertainment group performing for you once again this year, October 22nd at the Crystal Ballroom. Let me give you your number again, see if I got it right, 6611433 for $25 tickets.
That's right.
Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
We are going to finish up today's edition of Share the Vision by just recapping again the first ever Buddy Walk, which is the main focus of our program today. Karen Silsley is the residence coordinator here at the Resource Center, and the Buddy Walk is coming up just 1 week from today.
Yes, it is.
What time is the registration?
11:30 is registration, and the walk will start at 12:30. It's a $20 registration fee, which gets everyone a T-shirt and lunch afterwards, a DJ, and face painting.
Oh, we didn't mention that earlier.
Yeah, see?
Steve will be lining up right at the front.
I'd love to be a DJ. Or is that not what you meant?
Sure.
A DJ with face painting. Why not? We'll make it a real celebration. And look for those photos on Facebook, folks. Those photos on Facebook. Anyway, we need to get back to the serious subject of the day. If people would like to sign up for this first ever Buddy Walk, what's your number again, Karen Silsley?
969-2713.
And how many other families are there aside from you, Tim? Because I understand that there's a small but focused group of people that really wanted to launch this in Jamestown. This is Tim Adam again, Abby's dad.
Yeah, there's 3 families.
Thank
and then
you.
the girls.
3 families and 3 daughters?
Mm-hmm.
3 families happen to have 3 daughters, and your commitment to this has brought it to our community. Thank you for doing that. As I mentioned just before we took the break, this has been nationally recognized and very successful event in terms of raising awareness and funds throughout the United States. So thank you for the effort to bring it here.
Well, thank you for putting us on the air.
We're very happy to do that. This is the Buddy Walk coming to our area, first time 1 week from today. And again, we'll give Karen, since Karen Silsley is the primary contact for sign-ups this year, I'll give you a number one more time, 969-2713. 969-2713. Final thoughts, Karen Sills?
Just looking forward to everyone coming out and joining us on October 15th.
Tim Adam, any final thoughts?
It's rain or shine. Hopefully shine.
Abby Adam, any final thoughts? Well, we tried one more time. She doesn't want to speak to us. Steve Watterson, to bring us to the conclusion of today's Share the Vision. Any other events that we should talk about? There are a few things coming up here at the Resource Center, I know.
Yeah, well, obviously, in addition to the Buddy Walk and the Toys for Tots Charity Ball on Wednesday, October 26th, we're going to have our 28th Annual Disability Awareness Awards celebration. It's taking place at Webb's Captain's Table in Mayville this year. Tickets are $25 or $20 if you're a member of the Resource Center. And it starts at 5:30, and we'll be recognizing about 10 local people and organizations that have done a lot to support individuals with disabilities, as well as recognizing several people with disabilities who have made great strides in their own personal lives during the last year.
What's the best way for people to get connected with you and to go to that event? Through Vicki?
Absolutely. They should call Victoria Trask-Bardo at 661-1477.
For this year's Disability Awareness Awards celebration.
Yes, sir.
And with those three events, Steve, there's yet one other one we want to talk about.
One other thing going on Friday, October 28th, we are partnering with Raymore and Flanagan to have a Halloween parade at the store on Fairmount Avenue. It's from 6 to 8 o'clock. I think there's going to be a parade with sort of a costume contest, and the idea is that children and their families will walk around the store, stop at different tables that will have some Resource Center information each one, so they can pick up some candy and learn a little bit about the Resource Center, and everyone is invited to take part.
So this is a safe trick-or-treat alternative?
Correct.
In an interesting place?
Absolutely.
And will you be there?
I will.
Will you be in costume?
I hope so.
Try and figure out who among those masked characters is Steve Watterson. Regular listeners of this show will know by your voice probably right away, unless you disguise it.
I won't disguise it.
Well, thank you very much to Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center, and to Karen Silsley, Residence Coordinator here, and to Tim and Abby Adam. Thank you all for sharing the vision today.